Hey y'all, this is Jeremiah, pastor at Centennial ARP. Thanks for tuning in for today's video devotional, Proverbs chapter 10, verses 2 through 5. Let's read them today. Treasures gained by wickedness do not profit, but righteousness delivers from death. The Lord does not let the righteous go hungry, but he thwarts the craving of the wicked. A slack hand causes poverty, but the hand of the diligent makes rich. He who gathers in summer is a prudent son, but he who sleeps in harvest is a son who brings shame. As we are diving into, if you have been with us for some time, diving into the particular proverbs, those proverbs that you might think of when you think about the wisdom literature or the book of Proverbs, we're going to start to get these little groupings. Sometimes it might just be one, other times it might be a couple, like what we get here, that are a bit more topically based. But we're going to get these Proverbs proper, where they are what they are, and they are these little spatterings of wisdom on any given thing at any given time. And what we see here is mentioning of diligence and of what a solid and strong work ethic means. But this is also where we have to be very careful as we transition into this portion of Proverbs, because we must not forget that the beginning of wisdom is the fear of the Lord, that it's that knowledge of the Holy One that grants us insight, that God himself is the one who is giving these things to begin with and blessing us as we seek to move down that path of righteousness, that to trust in ourselves is folly, is a way of destruction. But as we lean all of ourselves onto the Lord, we begin to see his blessing, and his blessing eternal. And so we must keep that in mind step by step as we transition into these Proverbs. That's why we got, can you believe it, 9 chapters reminding us that it is God who is setting us on the right path, and that he's giving us all of these right things, wisdom personified being the biggest. And as we are gifted this reality, we then transition into the Proverbs. It took 9 chapters for the sermon introduction, if you wanted to think about it that way. And now we see this first little section where there is this call to diligence. And it's not that if we pick ourselves up by our bootstraps, we will become billionaires and never go hungry. Our stomachs won't growl or something like that. What is being mentioned here is a principle of what I sometimes call ordinary providence. God places in our lives, as we are casting our faith, our belief into him. Ephesians chapter 2 verse 10 speaks about this. God gives us these good works. He sets them up before us so we can go do them. And as we are doing them, he renders blessing upon us. And as we move in life in this way, seeking to serve others through these good works, by the varied graces that God has given us, the gifts, as we are utilizing those things and seizing opportunity, being diligent, right? But being diligent in a God-fearing way, not thinking that we're the ones who have to do it on our own because we're all we got, just me, myself, and I'm the only one looking out for me. That's not the concept. The concept is that God is setting these things up. And so as we expectantly look, as we await the harvest rather than sleep through it, as we don't quench the Spirit, but rather we seize the opportunities that God has given us. And as we seize these multiple opportunities, they are multiplied over on themselves as we begin to see that God is so good, and his magnificent plan is much larger than we could have ever thought, that no matter where we are, be it a pauper in the alleyway seeking to do what he can, or a prince on the throne seeking to do what he can, God has set up opportunity for us to diligently serve in his kingdom, and that will not go unnoticed, and it will not go unrewarded. God will provide as we seek to serve him. Think on these things today. Think on how you might be able to be diligent, to not sleep through the harvest time, but go out into the field and get that fruit for the Lord. Think about it today.